Hey everyone, I asked people for some suggestions of videos to make since I can't travel. So a few people said, hey, why don't you make a cooking video? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a cooking video. This is actually a fifth generation, I'm going to be passing it down to my children today, crab soup. So we'll get stuff together and we'll start the video. I want to give a little history before we get started. My great-grandfather, Leonard Walkie, lived in Brooklyn from the 20s to his death in 1975. One of the things he made was this crab soup. We're not exactly sure when he started it, but we know he started it, and it was basic ingredients, a little bit of meat, crab, mixed vegetables, salt and pepper, and maybe a bouillon cube. And as time went on, it evolved to what it is, or what the end product will be today. Passed this recipe on to my grandfather Bernard and my great uncle George, and they made crab soup. And they had their particular ways of making it, and I'll show you some of the things that they would do to their crab soup. In the late 70s, the crab soup really took off. My Uncle George worked at BWI, and the old catering service went out and a new catering service came in. And when the old service left, they left everything there. One of the things they left was this huge, huge pot. He brought it home, and we used that to make crab soup for many years. Greg was a big part of our family during that time, and he learned how to make the crab soup. When he had children and I had children at the same time, we actually went on vacation together quite a bit, to Ocean City at least once a year. One year, we were at the beach, and Greg says, hey, you know what we haven't done in a long time? I was like, no, what's that? He said, we haven't made crab soup. So he used his brain, I used my brain, and we came up with the old Walkie recipe. I've since actually looked for it to see if any of the family members had it. Nobody has the original copy. Nor did George or my grandfather, Bernard, write it down. The best we could tell, all of us figured out that the only people that did it were men, and everybody kind of did it to taste. So that's what we're going to do today. And along the way, everybody added their own little thing to it. So I'm going to be doing that as well. But I'm going to try to stick to the basic recipe of this crab soup from long ago. So let's get started. All right, we're going to get started on this. Lauren, before you come in, the one thing our family used to do when making a crab soup, beer. Hey, here comes Lauren with the beer. Thank you. Cheers. Yes, it's done. One of the things my grandfather liked to do is he liked to square up his vegetables. So I tried to kind of do that, square them up a bit.
They look like hexagons.
One of the things my Uncle George used to do is when he would cut the vegetables up, he would cut all this and put all this into the soup. Brown the meat before throwing it in. This is about a pound's worth of beef cubes. What I do differently than they did is they would use just salt and pepper. I'm using some Italian seasoning, and that gives it a nice flavor. Plus, when you're cooking, it's just dynamite. Earlier, I was talking about the really large pot that my Uncle George got. To give you some perspective of how much it held, we used to do 5 pounds of beef cubes, 5 pounds of mixed vegetables, 5 pounds of bacon, 5 pounds of crab meat, 3 of it was lump and 2 of it was claw. Looks like vegetable stock. You can use anything. You can use seafood, beef, chicken, you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Throw them into the pot. They usually use females because they were cheaper. There really wasn't much of a price difference, so I grabbed the males. They usually tend to be a little bigger. Although these things seem kind of small. So. Well, I've got them all cracked and ready to go. Into the pot. Ingredient for sure that they used all the way back to the late 30s and 40s was Old Bay. I also recommend using J.O. Spice. I actually have both. I have the Old Bay and I have J.O. Spice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of them in because I like them both.
Daddy! It's you, buddy.
Now remember, this is to taste. If you want it spicier, you put more in. If you want less spicy, you put less in. I do know for sure it smells good. The one thing that they would be doing right now is dumping the crab in. I have learned that the later you put the crab in, the more the chunks of meat stick together when you serve it. So I'm going to do it the way they did and throw it in now. But I do have a surprise at the end. 1 pound of crab meat going in. In times they have put bay leaves in the soup. I do not have any bay leaves. 2 ingredients that did not go in this. Potatoes and cabbage. And the reason why the potatoes don't go in there is because this is crab soup, and damn it, you don't put potatoes in crab soup. And the cabbage evidently makes it better. So there's no cabbage and no potatoes. So now we wait. All right. This is really smelling good. Looking good also. One more ingredient to add to this. I almost forgot. Beer. Smells good. Oh yeah. Oh man, that really smells good.
3 hours later.
All right, it's been several hours and the crab soup is done. If you remember correctly, I said I have a surprise at the end. Well, the surprise is I bought another pound of crab meat, and what I'm going to do is put some right in the center of this thing.
That's good.
That's really good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Is it good?
Yes.
How about you, honey?
Very good. Thank you.
All right.